We are barreling towards the end of the American empire as we know it. Trump appears to be ready to go nuclear on the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell as the world sits on the edge of World War III. Welcome to Thunderdome, ladies and gentlemen. And right before we went live today, we have breaking news. Right before we hit the live button, 16 billion Google, or it looks like 16 billion Google passwords and other platforms have been breached as cyber warfare is hitting new levels. This is absolutely insane. What a day. Isaac, how are you feeling today on this stupendous Thursday?
I'm feeling pretty great. You know, I've gotten like a little tiny bit of a workout. I'm ready to run again today, even though I'm sore as shit.
You did 100 push-ups in a row?
100 push-ups in a row because I have nothing better to do with my life except for suffer.
Oh my God.
Because I can't get in a freaking trade.
Oh my God.
The charts have been hectic because you can't trade well when we're in the middle of World War III. But other than that, we're doing great. Aerodrome, great. It's a good day.
Yeah. I mean, I'd see, and shout out Psychedelic Astronaut for joining OG status on your own account. Appreciate that support, my man. Holy cow. I want to say hello to the chat here. This is the Bitcoin Way. Hello. Brian Kuhn asking what diet is recommended to achieve Trump's physique. You know what? Nicotine, black coffee, and working out an hour a day, right? Maybe that'll get you there. We got Doobie Doo. No, I am not selling your damn ARC XBT XRP token. I don't even look. This is the chart. I don't care if it goes to zero, man. I bought some because I support you. So I'm not selling. I ain't even. Big Hands Dan, Andy S, Chuck and Wanda Bob, Mr. Mark, Beast Mode, BTC, Michael Moore, Ben Simmons. You know what? I wish I could get Steadybug in here so I could argue with him. You know, I really wish we had Steadybug up in the chat so I could give him a little bit of the truth. I think everyone needs that every now and again. Let's hop into this. Make sure you're following me here on X at Druth Crypto. If you guys didn't already, please do go ahead and change your passwords, folks. We have this alert: 16 billion passwords, twice the population of the entire planet, including Apple, Facebook, and Google, have been leaked in the largest data breach this earth has ever seen. So, that being said, I've spent some time changing passwords up, getting things a little bit buttoned up because there's been a massive breach here. So go check all your stuff. Make sure that you have 3-factor authentication. And you know what? This news, great segue for this bad boy, because I wasn't worried about any of my crypto being hacked, being stolen, because I have all of my crypto, everything outside of what I'm trading actively with, which is Tether, on an Arculus cold storage wallet. Sat there safe as a bug, not as safe as Steadybug, of course, but felt good because my information, my Bitcoin, my crypto is secure with Arculus. You can use code BASE20 to get 20% off of that bad boy. And shout out to Arculus for being a sponsor of this. And also Bitcoin IRA uses very, very strong authentication as well. So you know what, just keep your assets and your ass safe during these times. 16 billion records. Isaac, are you worried about your data now that we've seen this massive pullback here?
No, I'm not worried about my data.
Okay. You got it all changed? You got it buttoned up?
Secure. Most of my stuff is behind, authenticator walls and other all stuff. And I'm already a big cyberhead. So
good.
Everything stays secure, just like your crypto.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an action plan, though. For anyone that's out there, if you're feeling a little bit exposed, I just wanted to highlight that news story before we get into the rest of this. Yes, Aerodrome's been ripping. We're obviously going to cover that in the larger context, where I think the world is going. When I see the end of the American hegemony as we know it, things are changing. Things are changing in a very, very fast way, in a very big way, on a money side, on a commerce side. Really, everything that we know here in this world is going to be shifted over the next 10 to 20 years. It's up to us to pivot into the next tech, make as much money as we can, and try to take control of our food supply and our security. Now, make sure you are following us, subscribe to us here on the YouTube, become a member like we saw Psychedelic Astronaut do right before we went to the show. Shout out to you, Psychedelic Astronaut. I think he's a guitar player too. Let me pull up this. Yeah, he's out there ripping on the guitar. Shout out to you, man. Looks like a dude I could start a band with. Thank you very much. But make sure you are following, and if you feel it in your heart, subscribe for $5 a month and support us that way as well. Now, where we are, we're going to talk about Bitcoin first. There we are in danger. Okay, we are in danger for a couple different reasons. In the short time frame, we have a liquidity washout of a couple $100 million to get if we just sneeze and go down to this $103,800 level. I am watching this. We're going to roll through where the liquidity lives. Wall Street is closed today for Juneteenth. Holy shit, it is stacked up below us, Isaac.
Indeed.
It is stacked up below us. I'll let you guys know in a minute why this is making me sweat a little bit here. Here's the larger graph. And, I did get my, what happened there? Are you trying to sign in? Are you kicking me off?
Nope.
Okay. This is we did get this, pretty good trigger, but there's been a lot of nasty chop today from this signal. And yes, I did enter along here at $104,100 right before we went live. I am in danger. I didn't get it into the Discover Investments Group Discord because of how fast I had to enter it and get all the information for the show together. But we are actively in danger as I talk here. So we'll see how that pans out. I'll hop on over here. Where are we at here? Let's go. Oh, man. Ooh, it's getting risky. Risky biscuits. Okay. There's the entry. We're gonna have to monitor this in the background as I go through the rest of the show here. It is going to be a sketchy one, folks. So we already covered this, the massive hack. Please, for the love of God, keep your passwords safe. Keep your crypto off exchanges. Not the place to be. But now we have Jerome Powell and Donald Trump ready for a fist fight. As the thumbnail suggests, President Trump said that the Federal Reserve chair, Jerome Powell, is costing the country hundreds of billions of dollars. He is truly one of the dumbest and most destructive people in government. The funny part is, jokes on us and Trump, is he's actually not part of the government. Even though he leads what's called the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell is not part of the government. So the Federal Reserve Board is complicit. That's right. They're going to make the decisions outside of the control of the government, which leaves us in kind of a precarious position when we have $9 trillion worth of debt that's got to be refinanced at these high interest rate levels over the next 6 months here. That is where the real hardcore contention between these two buffoons comes. And now we had this message from Powell: we will make a smarter decision if we wait a couple more months and see where inflation ends up being. A lot of people are asking, why are they not possibly cutting right now? Currently, we're sitting at a 2.6% CPI rating. So it's slightly above by 0.6% where the Federal Reserve wants to see inflation at by their accounts. They want to see it around 2% inflation levels. It doesn't look like they're getting that. But it leaves a lot of people quite aggravated, and this is a really good post from Alex Becker. Holy shit, Powell sucks an unbelievable, insurmountable, unfillable, endless bucket of cock. Lower the interest rates, you ass pirate. Now, this is the comparison to China's interest rates, which have pulled back heavily, Euro's interest rates, which absolutely have been pulling back heavily, and the United States interest rate, which is trying to hold steady at these high levels. Something that TJ said quite a while ago really rings true in this current environment. It's the country that cuts the interest rates last wins. This is where it is. So that is what it's going to be. And really, I think we're on the edge of seeing a few of those interest rates. We've already covered it yesterday and the day before. We're looking at two expected interest rates of 25 base points from the Federal Reserve as the CME tool sees it right now. And those are going to occur later on, starting in September of 2025. Kind of a sad situation when you have alt season, we need an interest rate cut. We need the Ponzi scheme to get harder and heavier, daddy, so that we can pump a little bit. Kind of makes me squirm a little bit to think about it that way. Jay is saying September. That is what the CME is showing us right now. Benjamin Country, that prints last. That's right. Diesel, about time to send Powell and the Fed on a nice long cruise on the Titanic.
Nice.
Bring the Titanic out of the water and let Jerome just set sail there. It might be a nice
an iceberg. It's a bomb.
Over 100. Now let's talk about Bitcoin and where things are going here. Over 100 companies now collectively hold 830,000 Bitcoin. That is a whole hell of a lot of Bitcoin being held by these 100 companies, nearly 1 million Bitcoin. Now, we talk about the total amount of Bitcoin that's ever going to be is 21 million. But it is estimated that there's about 3 to 5 and upward estimates of up to 7 million Bitcoin that is lost forever in seed phrases that will never be recovered, etc., bringing the actual, kind of circulating supply down to a 18 million to 16 million level, right? So we're only really looking at around 16 to 18 million Bitcoin out there circulating. You have companies, these 100 companies holding nearly 1 million themselves. The United States with a plan to buy 1 million Bitcoin for themselves over the next 5 years through the Bitcoin Reserve Act. The real bullishness here and the kind of crescendo, the peak of this exciting white knuckling moment that we're in here with world war, with financial war, with a Federal Reserve that's private holding the American economy hostage, is the finite divisibility of Bitcoin. And really the crescendo, the supply shock of Bitcoin, I think we're going to see over the next 5 to 10 years as all of these Wall Street firms and these nation states come to that pinch point where they have to buy the Bitcoin. And that's where we see some absolute ridiculous movements on the macroeconomic economy into Bitcoin. And the black hole of bit bonds are something we haven't really discussed at length here. But when we do see the Bitcoin Reserve put into play by the United States government and they start actively moving towards buying the Bitcoin, they're also in tandem going to roll out, in my opinion, what are bit bonds, these bonds backed in Bitcoin that can offer a very, very good yield and a very strong outlook of upward momentum over the next 50 to 100 years here. So the country that doesn't move and open up these bit bonds once the United States makes that move is absolutely going to experience a capital flight into American Treasury bonds backed by Bitcoin. It's my thesis. I'm sticking to it. I feel that this is the black hole that Bitcoin will create when it's being kind of mangled into this current existing system of finance. Bullish on chicken salad sandwiches. That was the moment. Anyone that's old school, they know, old school big black site members, blockchain basement members, they remember when TJ was eating the chicken salad. We were at probably $16,000, $17,000 Bitcoin, and TJ would always be shoveling the chicken salad in his mouth. And I was kind of the idea of having like other people on the show who came in because TJ needed to have a lunch, but he still wanted to cover everything that he wanted to cover, but he needed to have a lunch. It's kind of how I found my spot in here. You know what? I don't know what his diet's moved on to. I think I haven't seen a chicken salad sandwich for TJ in quite some time, so that is something to think about. Now, bullish Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas talking about Bitcoin surpassing gold's $16 trillion market cap. Let's have a listen to this.
Bitcoin is a new global reserve asset. It will surpass gold. So take that as take home values from this talk. One thing, Bitcoin will be more valuable than gold shortly. Now, today, at $105,000 per Bitcoin, the 2 billion, the 20 million Bitcoins that are out there, well, they're worth, 2 point something trillion. Mm-hmm. Gold is worth like 16 trillion. So Bitcoin should go up at least 8 times to equate the storehouse or the value storage capacity of gold. And I have no doubts that it will happen very shortly. I mean, I wouldn't say when, but if you look at any trend, gold, in terms of Bitcoin, the trend is going down, and it's so easy to see,
It should be so easy to see. Just the average person isn't really paying attention. The average person is paying attention to the wars going on right now. The average person is paying attention to Taylor Swift and her newest music movements, how she has control of her own music. The average person is completely asleep during what's going on right now. And that is why Isaac, our job is important. We have to reach the average person as quickly as possible because these things are going down. Market makers know it's going down. BlackRock knows it's going down. American governments know it's going down. It's just about beating these massive control mechanisms to the punch about holding our Bitcoin on cold storage to really exercise our control of this movement. As American citizens, we have the right to do so. And secure your crypto with cold storage and firearms is also within our rights. So Ohio bill has now passed to exempt Bitcoin payments that are under $200 from taxes. Of course they do. They want Bitcoin to be fluid, and they'd likely be moving towards accepting Bitcoin as tax payments. For the love of God, spend as little Bitcoin as humanly possible. Kind of hold off on that maybe for 50 years, 60 years. The whole goal is to stack Bitcoin. I have a good reminder on my wrist of why I trade and what I'm stacking here. What the goal is behind these altcoin holdings is to stack more Bitcoin. Absolutely. And it's just a good reminder of that. Now, how the market looks right now, what you got, Isaac?
You're in danger. You're really
I'm in
close to your
danger
entry here. 104.2 flat.
Let's go to it. Let's go to it. Going in red. No, it's barely. We're barely holding on. We're barely holding on. It's fine. If I lose this range, I'll cut it. If I lose this range, I'll cut it. But it is what it is. Let's go check the liquidation levels. Go check the liquidation levels. I'm sure we're sitting right above them. These have been moving very, very fast. Oh God.
The
longs are there. The longs are there.
New ones on the 12-hour.
New ones on the 12-hour. Oh no. Oh no, there it goes.
I know. You're in danger.
Oh, no. It's just fun. It's fun. I have to take the counter trade where everyone's feeling bearish, kind of giving up. The markets are asleep. I did have this interesting interaction with Bitcoin on this old trend line too. This old trend line's been very, very interesting to watch over the last few days here. Actually weeks. It's been, punching down to this trend line and then simply just reversing. So this is the 4-hour, and this is a moment where I see the 4-hour MACD is showing a good potential where these sell-off waves, these sell-off candles within the MACD are getting weaker, and things are to the downside. This is where I can find that nice bounce. So I got to risk it for the biscuit, Isaac. I got to risk it, and also it's content. It's good content. Is it moving? Yeah, it's moving. Barely. Just but a scratch. Come on, man. Had to open it for the content. Now the landscape looks a little scary. I don't know what the hell this thing is. So Ethereum is flatline 22.5. Bitcoin at 104.2 is showing 103 here. Hyperliquid with a pullback, which you'd expect. It's been absolutely exploding from the $10, $13 level all the way on up to $40, $44 plus. We're currently sitting at $36 a unit on Hyperliquid. Doge Link actually showing some green. I wonder what the Bitcoin dominance chart is looking like. Dare I look right now to see if Bitcoin is losing control of the situation? Let's check it out here. Let's go on the weekly. I'm getting a lot of notifications on my phone here. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm gonna check it out. Bitcoin dominance looking strong. Bitcoin dominance is looking strong here. Holy God. Unbelievable. This is wild. Wild. Alts like, ooh, we're having fun. ETH put up that big week against Bitcoin. God, man, it just keeps moving to the upside. The dominance there is real. In the light of that Bitcoin dominance, though, it is very interesting to see one of the channel picks here. Aerodrome has breached 90 cents. It is absolutely moving. We'll look at this from a chart perspective. We're still like in comparison to where we were just at $2. We got a long way to go and a good, kind of target to be able to go after for Aerodrome. I think that something else is at play here. And it's kind of funny to see articles being written from pretty big news publications talking about Aerodrome and its explosive growth. But Aerodrome really started to move now that Genius Act has been put into play. So let's go check out this conversation from Brian Armstrong talking about the base ecosystem.
Coinbase is coming into payments in a big way. And for years, we've been working on the building blocks here of having a stable coin that's trusted and regulated with USDC, with a more scalable blockchain like Base. Toby Lutke at Shopify and we would meet and we'd think about, okay, how can we get this ready for prime time? And some of those pieces fell into place with a trusted stablecoin, a scalable crypto network. But the last piece that we really had to build was actually a new smart contract that replicated some of the functionality of credit cards that people use in e-commerce. So people don't realize this often, but when you go pay for something in e-commerce, the merchant does what's called an authorization on your card, but they don't actually capture the funds until they reserve the inventory and they calculate taxes. They have to figure out shipping. And so credit cards have this kind of off, capture, void, refund functionality. And with Shopify and Coinbase, we actually were able to replicate that in a smart contract on chain. It's open source. And so people have been talking about the programmable money that crypto can bring for years, and it's now finally ready.
Jeez, man. In holding and buying Aerodrome, being so bullish about it for the last year or two here has felt a little bit maddening at times. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're looking at charts like the Bitcoin dominance, it's absolutely ripping, but we're very fundamental in terms of our thought process here on which projects and which protocols are going to go well. We expected Coinbase to capture Ethereum. They rolled out Base. Then we saw Aerodrome was kind of that pinch point where most of the wrapped Bitcoin was finding its way to. We found that most of the swaps, most of the activity on the initial rollout of Base were leaning towards this ecosystem within Aerodrome. Thus, we start stacking Aerodrome, and then veteran crypto of DeFi crypto and airdrops takes it a whole another step by earning free Aerodrome tokens by providing it as liquidity and getting involved in the DeFi ecosystem of it as well. So we've covered Aerodrome on a bunch of different angles on this channel and as a really a company. I mean, even Discover Crypto, BitLab Academy. All of us felt very, very strong about this, even in the light and the bearishness of what's been going on the mindset of altcoins and the graphs of altcoins in general. So good job, everyone out there that's been sticking with us on this outlook. It looks like we're reaping the benefits for it, and if you're fine with the 3x, or the, from 18 cents up to $1, here's where I give the call. You've got good profits. The rest of the market's down pretty bad. I'm not going to shame you for taking profits. Me personally, I expect Aerodrome to be capable of quite a bit of upside as this institutional integration and the acceptance of the Genius Act really starts to take hold here. So good job, everyone. Good job. We had Jeremy Allaire of Circle come out and also talk about the excellent launch of Coinbase today, making a simple, easy way to accept and adopt this USDC for merchant payments. We talked about this, and Brian Armstrong just kind of explained the underlying ecosystem is Base, right? And the Base has very minimal transaction fees, works very, very quickly, but it also utilizes the ecosystem of what Ethereum is to operate on, thus keeping it secure. So very, very interesting times to be watching this kind of two different worlds, the tale of two different cities in altcoins going on right now. And Trump, after the Genius Act moved through, put out this statement that we are going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. And immediately after these comments, the market dumped. So it's just, we're in that time frame where he can say all these bullish things. It doesn't really help out anymore. It's kind of getting getting weird on that side. But
washed.
I have conviction in it. I think we're going to be just fine as long as you're looking at the right altcoins. Me and DZ and Kelly were talking about this this morning, is that this altcoin market, it really, when we first saw like the Aptos and the Squeeze and all of these other things coming into play on top of what was already existing in the altcoin sector, it was on us to not consolidate at that time. So that was an L, not realizing that the amount of altcoins was really kind of diluting the amount of money that would be able to flow downhill to them. Thus, realizing that mistake, I had to get very, very specific about my altcoins and really start to just lean in to trading, obviously stacking Bitcoin, but being very, very careful about what altcoins I'm getting involved with. What, you were about to say something, Mr. Isaac?
I was not actually.
Oh,
Just
okay, good.
running the chart over here.
Okay, yeah, and if you can, Isaac, while I'm yapping here, you know, I want to look at Mamo. So if you can, keep a reminder. I do want to go look at Mamo. You've got Brian Wild looking for $1.24 on Morpho. You very well could get that. You very well could get that shit. You could get, you know, 90-cent Morpho. I think Morpho is still lagging. It's not been realized. Morpho is part of this base ecosystem and this Coinbase consortium that is being built in the background. So, and I did move in on a plume position yesterday. I am curious to see where that buy ended up being. I know I got it for 8.4 cents a unit. Let's go here to crypto. Where's my watch list actually? Where's the watch list? Let's see here. Sometimes I move 100 miles a minute and I get a little bit sidetracked. Okay, cool. So we're at like just under 9 cents. We're getting some love on Plume. It's trying to do a little bounce from that huge sell-off moment. We'll see if that ends up. That'd be absolutely crazy if we were able to snag a bottom buy on Plume, because the buy is right about there at 8.4 cents. That'll be interesting to pay attention to. Now, still got to get on that call of DeFi and crypto and airdrops to start putting the Plume, the Morpho, and the Arrow to work here. Pump Fun lawyering up. So we saw Brunswick coming in. Shout out to Byron dropping 10 memberships. Holy cow.
Holy
what a G.
shit.
What a G. Thank you very much for
Legends.
that, Byron. Really appreciate you, man. You're helping support the channel here with that kind of action. And very much thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Pump Fund, we saw the lawsuit rolled out. Now it looks like they're bolstering their lawyer defense team. Platform Pump Fund has made further additions to his legal team as it gears up to fight a lawsuit brought by legal firm Berwick Law. Legal filings from last Thursday and back in May revealed that Brown Rudnick's Daniel Sachs and Kyle Dorso have been named as counsel. They joined Stephen Pally, a chair of Rudnick's digital commerce group, in representing Batten Corporation, Pump Fund's parent company. So Pump Fund kind of hardening its legal shell as these potential lawsuits come towards them. I don't know how well the lawsuits are really going to do. It's very kind of open season on meme coins. And, you know, when it comes down to it, it is up to us to not press the buy button. You know, when it really comes down to it, if you boil down who the responsible party is, we have a choice on buying vaporware or not. And that's just my opinion of it. Tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. You know, am I crazy in this? But when it comes down to it, man, my trigger figure on the buy button, that's on me and the decisions I make, because I am out here gambling magical internet money against billionaires and algorithmic robots. So that is the situation at hand. Now, Trump talked about the Genius Act yesterday, again, dumped the markets. Incredible bill that is going to make America undisputed leader in digital assets. Nobody will do it better. Nobody. It's pure genius. Digital assets of the future, and the nation is going to own it. We are taking a massive investment, a big innovation, and the House will hopefully move lightning fast and pass a clean Genius Act. Get it on my desk ASAP. No delays, no add-ons. This is the American brilliance at best, and we're going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. I hope he's right. I hope he's right. I hope what they do is actually lean into this and beat the rest of the world to rolling out these, you know, institutional grade instruments. And if they do, and this makes it move, man, you know what? The utility coins that we've been mocked for holding, you know, a lot of people were yelling at me because they top blasted Aerodrome and then it fell to 50 cents. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm buying, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know, you get crypto at the price you deserve. You know, you really do. If you're an early believer in it, you buy it early, you get to reap the benefits. Now, Pavel Durov has been cleared to leave France now for 14 days, starting on July 10th, but only to travel to Dubai under the ongoing judicial supervision. Pavel Durov, I believe, is behind Toncoin. All right, let's see here. It's either behind, I think he's the Toncoin guy. Let's see here. Yeah, CEO of Telegram. and it's not really particularly Toncoin is different than Telegram, obviously,
Mm.
but it derived out of Telegram, and then Toncoin kind of separated in, I think, about 2018 when the environment, the SEC for oversight of crypto was very, very anti-crypto, and they kind of made two different enemies. Now looks like Pavel is still under that judicial watch, and France is not letting him move very, very far at all. It is what it is. I really hope that they let him go. If there's no actual wrongdoing, there's no real crime here other than competing with the existing ecosystem and making messages actually encrypted and private for people. I don't quite see what the point is of keeping him in jail. Benjamin Cowan came out talking about quantitative tightening continuing, so much for people thinking that it would stop in June. Yes, that it did indeed happen. There's a form of quantitative easing that is going on in the background that Dan Gambardella was talking about yesterday, is that silent quantitative easing is taking place while retail thinks that the game is over for altcoins. Watch how fast things turn around. Those prepared will do well. We got Kelly Kellum's comment under that. I have been prepared, too prepared, and thus feeling a little like this, just going underwater. Shout out to you, Kelly Kellum. The concept here of quantitative easing going on through treasury buybacks is a real conversation that's going on in the background, but how much will it actually affect retail investors' appetite for altcoins is a whole nother question, because as Discover Crypto was showing on the coin graph, on the a slew of different Wall Street crypto related products are absolutely looking like altcoins this season. This is why we've had to be very, very careful. Holy cow. Byron coming in with the 50 gifted membership, making it rain. Very much appreciated, man. Hopefully everyone, we got Warrior in there. I still need to have a conversation with Warrior on the Discord. This is the Bitcoin Way. I got those out, but I will get you yours. I will get this is Bitcoin Way, hers, as well as Discord discount. Anyone that's still looking for the discount, that's early NFT holders, OG members, please give me a shout out on my X account at Truth Crypto. Everyone with these new memberships, though, make sure you send me. We need to start doing membership based trading streams, I think, as well. Thank you very much, man. Holy cow.
Especially with all those. I mean,
I don't think you missed anyone. I think everyone's going to be able to be a member now. So that'd be pretty awesome. And membership streams allow us to not be demonetized, with me to say some pretty against the grain things that usually would get me very much demonetized on YouTube. So thank you very much for allowing that. Now Steve-O, Crypto Steve-O, very interesting to see Ethereum and Solana now battling for the top spot in fees. As always, Cardano, other ghost chains like DOT, eGold, Quant, XRP, and ICP are nowhere to be found. Cardano is one that, man, it's a pain hold. Where is Cardano at right now? I haven't even thought about Cardano in a long damn time. Oh, Cardano is painful. Cardano is ADA.
I haven't been in it for quite some time, so I feel great.
I'm sick of your shit.
I'm sick of my shit.
I'm down by 10 cents a unit. So my buys are at 70 cents. Not the highest, top blasting that I could have done above the dollar realm in the last year, but definitely slightly down. Aggravating hold for sure. One thing is I do have PTSD from the last bull market. I'm seeing a series of higher lows in aggregate on Cardano. I remember looking at Cardano at like 2 cents last market, and then it pumped up to $3. Horrible. But I do see higher lows overall on this market. And where altcoin season is, where the hell is the compilation going to come from? That has been a big question on a lot of people's minds. I did have an interesting graph that I don't know if it's up here right now. I'll go in here and find this really, really quickly. Here it is. All right, so let's hop on over to this thing. So this is from DeFi Tracer. Bitcoin trading at 100K, but alts are down 90%. Everyone thinks this cycle is different. He thinks it's not. He analyzed market data, and here's why the crypto trend will turn around. The image that he posted with this is just the general RSIs for the crypto total market cap. And this is the overall movements of this in the measurement of 412 days from each time. I get a little bit wary using these, these time frame stamps as like the exact moment where things are going to move in tandem.
Yeah.
Let's go here. So the current cycle ain't easy. Everyone's confused about the phase that we are in. Comments like this gives him flashbacks to 2021. Don't be dumb. Analyze events and metrics, not sentiment. So, we have very, very bullish things going on. We have all of the Genius Act, this integration with Shopify and honestly billions of dollars of commerce, but we haven't experienced that expansion yet. What we've seen is an expansion of AI agents that goes in a jackknife to the upside for 1 month and then jackknife to the downside. It is very, very difficult to be a holder of these things during these times. I currently do hold Cardano. I just don't want to fade it and get left behind like last time. You know what I mean? But Cardano is more of a cult community. If you don't have a cult or an army or some kind of psycho baseline of retail holding the coins hard enough to get to that pump moment, it's simply going to fail. It's simply going to fail. And we got Elon Musk trying to make this more accessible in terms of trading on X. It looks like X is going to launch an in-app investing and trading platform, according to the Financial Times. We had Grok with a little bit of an explanation on this. The in-app investing and trading aiming to become an everything app by integrating financial services with social media, and this could offer convenience and boost engagement as users manage finances without switching apps. This potential of them not having to switch apps, I really like. Isaac, does that really move the buck? And shout out to Cold Content for another 5 gifted blockchain memberships. Holy God, Jesus, guys, you guys are making you're making it rain out here. Isaac, what are your opinions on that? Like, is it difficult to swap from one app to the next to do trading? In your mind?
Yeah, we've been sitting here on L Bank for a couple months now, and like just going between all these exchanges, having money on multiple exchanges, like when we're with 2bit and we're like what was the other one, BTCC. It just makes it difficult to consolidate everything, especially when things go wrong on exchanges.
Yeah,
you see.
But I don't know if they'll allow leverage on this. Is the thing, right? Because I'm swapping between all those exchanges for leverage plays, but I don't know if X is going to allow leverage.
Well, if they don't allow leverage, I don't really see the entire point of it.
Right.
We have, most of our crypto, if not all of it's on Arculus or Coinbase wallet and all that stuff, and everything else is going to be leverage traded. So
right.
I don't think
right.
It's going to be big. People are going to use it, but is it really necessary to just have? No, I don't think so.
And what happens when your X account gets hacked, right? 16 billion.
And you get banned. Your X account gets banned, and oh look, there goes your assets with it.
Right. And the amount of bots, right? Like they never fix the bots. It's insane to some of the bigger accounts on X. I go through the followers and kind of the comments of them, and I actually click on the account face, and a lot of these accounts on X, they're fake accounts.
Yeah.
Right. So that is something I'd like to see them actually fix the bot armies that are out there before rolling out massive, financial instruments within the. That's just me.
No, you're right. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. So, we'll see how much that moves the buck. I really don't think something very interesting that Binance is doing, though, that I think will be pretty important is Binance founder CZ is saying that every crypto platform will function, should have a will function. So assets can be passed on to users who are no longer around, people that die. They're going to build in this will function. And this will allow people like, left of kin, people that survive, the people who do perish, to actually access those crypto accounts. It also calls for miners to be allowed to have accounts to receive funds. That'd be pretty freaking cool to have a will built up. But the thing that goes to my mind and why I probably would be left out of something like this is because I don't leave the good chunk of my money on any exchange, right?
Yeah.
So, it's up to me to kind of build in the instructions and the process for those cold storage wallets within my own will. And I'm basically just taking that responsibility on my own shoulders. Now, I know I'm diversifying and kind of moving into Bitcoin IRA for a chunk of the Bitcoin as well for the kiddos, and the wife, and make sure they use a a varied amount of things that you can hold this in. And a good one is Bitcoin IRA. They're a great channel sponsor and partner here. And give them a call at 877-936-7175. Again, call them and get a real person on the phone at 877-936-7175. Another good vehicle to make sure that our next of kin can access our Bitcoin when we do perish. Because I'll tell you, time is finite here on the planet. None of us are going to be here forever. And if you are, you're probably going to be stuck in an AWS cloud that'll be hacked. So that would not be fun. Here's a scam. Pi Network mainnet migration is facing major issues, with users now reporting KYC failures, two-factor problems, and missing balances despite following the procedures correctly. Somehow I made it with my Pi tokens in my actual wallet. Yes, I'm an idiot for still holding them. No, I'm probably not going to sell them today. Should I? Probably. It just is what it is. Shout out to this, the Bitcoin Way. We got her out here with just started my Bitcoin IRA. First purchase was linked. Shout out to you.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Bitcoin Way up in there, supporting the channel, working with our partner. They're very cool people. Very cool people over at Bitcoin IRA. Highly can recommend them. Arcus, I love having sponsors like this. Now, Crypto Cody mocked me. I know. You're smarter than me. You sold that ish immediately. Do I dare go look at the Pi token chart? Do I dare go look?
I just YOLO'd along.
You did. Okay.
did.
You YOLOing on the I think my trade's probably down by I'm down 6% on it. So we'll see if she turns around. It just did that liquidity washout, so we'll see if it gets there. Now, Pi token. Let's talk about this. God, I'm such a dumbass. I should have just freaking sold it when it was jackknifing to the upside. It was worth $2.70. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Is what it is. You know what I mean? Not surprised that people are having trouble and it's looking scammy as all get out. Probably going to end up willing that dust to my children. And they'll be like, what the hell did Grandpa Drew think? These things are worth a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a penny. And a penny's no longer worth a penny 50 years, 60 years from now. Now, this is insane. Taco, I know Nick was talking about it. A lot of people, when TIA token got in, I got in at $2. It pumped up to like $20 and then fell to 10. So I got out. I took the 5X. I was like, fine, I'll take my 5X and run. Pretty good thing that I did. Taco was covering this. This is the price action of TIA token compared to the market cap. Something ain't right. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. We got TIA coming in at around $1.70 currently. Very, very painful graph in a short amount of time. But here's the market cap actually trying to set higher lows. Something is going on here. So let's hop on over to TIA token. I think what is really going on is people are exhausted and privy and thoughtful about the VC dump vesting schedules that were kind of the previous design of altcoins, where VCs could get in real early. They could release and hype the token up and then release it slowly, or at first very heavily, but then they would try to trickle it out and keep the hype going. The hype is gone from modular blockchains. There is no hype going on modular blockchains. And Celestia, TIA token, doesn't have a FOMO feverish market of altcoins to dump these things into. So we see the market cap, honestly, is still at $1 billion. When it hit $20 a unit, we had only at $3 billion market cap. TIA token hit new highs in market cap at here we go. So TIA token, this is a $20 per unit price level for TIA token, and the market cap hit 3.3 billion. It falls back down, then the releases begin. It hits a new high of a $4 billion market cap here in December of 24 at the inauguration time, and look at that tiny blip on the map that created. Something is very, very wrong with this inflation level. And you know what? I'm glad I got out of this thing. I'm glad I got out of this thing when I did. Sometimes, when you got the up only mindset, but things start feeling a little bit weird and you can still pull the 5X out of the position, don't hate yourself. Don't beat yourself up for doing that. And you know what? None of these, people that are bull posted on X with the tickers and all this stuff, none of them are going to care for you when it goes down by 90%. They're not going to be there giving you a back rub. So just take your damn profits and move on. Move into Bitcoin, move into hard assets. Now let's move on to World War III. Here's
Yay.
James Wynn. Here's James Wynn. Russia wants Ukraine. The West wants Iran. China wants Taiwan. North Korea wants South Korea. Migrants want the UK. What else am I missing? There's some
USA is bored and wants to join in.
and this is funny. Jeremy, crypto bros only want season. We want alt season. This is what all the crypto bros are saying here. Absolutely hilarious. Now, there's some nuance here. I think China obviously does want Taiwan. I think China also wants the oil production out of Iran. And Russia, this is indisputable. They want Ukraine. I think that Russia would stop with its onslaught once they can capture its motherland of Ukraine. But Russia also wants NATO to not have the border, the western border of Russia, basically lined with large missile systems and heavy artillery. I think that if America had the amount of artillery that Russia has on its border, say in Mexico, if BRICS had a bunch of, intercontinental missiles and Patriot type systems set up in Mexico, we'd have a problem with that here in the United States as well. Just my 2 cents. What else am I missing? About $100 million as well. That was brutal. James Wynn, yeah, he fought the law and he lost. He fought the law and he lost. So now let's go on over to this from Disclosed. Netanyahu saying that President Trump is going to do what is best for America. Netanyahu trusts Trump's judgment. He's a tremendous friend, tremendous world leader, and a friend of Israel and the Jewish people. So he's trusting in Trump's decision on this. Currently we still are not on the outward admittance that we're involved in Israel, as Ted Cruz kind of let it slip yesterday. There is American involvement to whatever degree that is still to be discussed, but it is undisputable that there is American involvement in this current war. And I do hope that cooler heads will prevail. But there is the background undertone in my mind that Iran's been trying to shut our grid down for 3 to 4 decades, and it'd probably look like a nuke in America if they had succeeded that whole time anyways. So now we have Trump's nuclear attack doomsday plane arriving at the Joint Base Andrews in Washington, D.C. It's an E-4B night watch, which is most notable deployment was to the District of Columbia on September 11th of 2001. So this, not a great sign to see the transport spot for the United States president used when we go to nuclear war, the doomsday plane, being set up for President Trump to be able to utilize. Trump did reach out. It looks like Iran wants to meet at the White House. According to Trump, Trump has hinted that he might actually be willing to do so. But also on the other end of Trump and what he's saying is this absolutely crazy. Let's pull this up.
He said I was going back home to make a ceasefire. Not a ceasefire. We're long beyond ceasefire. And I said, why do you say that? Why would you say ceasefire? It's a bad term to use, because a ceasefire means like everything's going swimmingly, we'll take a little time off. It's not. We're not looking for a ceasefire. We're looking for a total, complete victory. Again, you know what the victory is. No nuclear weapon.
Mr. President.
So I thought it was a very badly worded statement by him, and obviously I let him know that.
Interesting. So the total and complete victory for Trump would be a full disarmament of Iran's nuclear capabilities. Isaac, you think Iran's going to give up its nukes?
Nope. Matter of fact, they sit on one of the world's largest amounts of uranium. So their entire floor is just nuclear missiles.
Well, in thinking about this, it's interesting that Trump didn't say we want a total shutdown of their movement towards having a nuclear weapon. He didn't say it that way. He said we want no nuke, right? Which in my mind, and you know my opinion of this, a country that wants nukes for 3 or 4 decades, that has a GDP and population level that Iran has, is going to be able to find them. Now, if they can go intercontinental or not, that is another part of the conversation, which I am currently at the mindset where they don't have ICBMs for Iran. But it doesn't mean that they wouldn't stop, right? We have North Korea has been working on that technology. in a failing capacity, but they've been trying to test little Rocket Man down in North Korea has been testing ICBMs, those transport systems of the nukes, to try to be able to reach their true enemies, but they're not there yet. They're not there yet. And also, the speed of which these ICBMs need to travel to outpace American interception capabilities is quite immense. We talk about the speeds that the Satan II missile system that Russia has, but then also the speed of China's missiles. This is why China and Russia are really the only two countries that concern me in terms of a world war. And why here in America, those are the ones that I'm more particularly interested in seeing those peace negotiations happen with on the first and foremost. Yes, Iran and North Korea are military kind of dogs in the fight for BRICS coalition that they can use for American proxies. But America versus Russia or China is where things get very, very dark, very, very quick. Let's look at this. How fast does the Satan II missile travel? I'm just going to kind of reemphasize this, just to explain the speeds of which the Satan II does travel. This is Russia's ICBM, kind of their claim to fame currently. It's the RS-28 Sarmat, commonly referred to as a Satan II missile. It travels approximately 25,000 to 30,000 kilometers an hour, or 15,000 to 18,600 miles per hour. So a very fast missile system, a very quick moving missile that is hard to intercept. And that's the one that I'm actually more so concerned about, being sent over here. And I know that there are a few that Russia have. The Satan II is a gargantuan delivery system. We are and now here's Putin talking about being ready for substantive talks with Ukraine on principles of a peaceful settlement. So, seeing this, kind of hopeful that we see a little bit of peace worked out. I'm not going to hold my breath on any major peace. I do want to look at this KH-42 as well. Thank you, World War, for highlighting
47.
the model number. What's that? Oh, K247. All right, let's put this one in because I do want to see what speed that one runs. I know they're all kind of, they're pretty close when we get this. So let's see what this speed is. Coming in at no, that one's a little bit slower actually. It's 7,000 and 9,000 miles per hour there. So yeah, the Satan II actually travels pretty damn fast. So yeah, I mean, Isaac, you're getting ready, you're sharpening your knife, you're getting ready to go into the military.
Europe.
Do you have any worries of, these talks kind of expanding, in terms of war? Like, are you hoping for peace? What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you're a young man and I get the T levels are through the roof and you just want to go send it, but just give me your sentiment watching all this stuff go down.
Am I worried if we enter war? No, I'm not worried.
Not worried?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for what's to come. We kind of been watching this for the past couple of months, and when all this started to break out with Russia and Ukraine in the first place, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it. And now we're sitting on the brink of World War III, if not starting World War III, and I'm not worried. I'm ready. I'm gonna go and do my job, what I have to do.
Maybe we should put your psycho bag in the Dig Discord.
My psycho bag of fucking hell and pain and other bullshit.
Griff Payne. Griff Payne.
We're gonna call it the Griff Payne something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Have we looked at Griff Payne in a while?
No, and I don't really care to look at it.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
No, that's fine. I'll pull it up right now. I mean, you can pull it up too because I don't have my screen. It's at $40 million market cap. I'm so screwed. Oh, I'm more worried about my Griff Payne bags than getting blown up by a drone. Okay.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, let's share. We can show this. You're not dealing with inflationary pressures. You're dealing with a lack of interest in graphene as an AI agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we are seeing some AI agents really start to take back off again. That pain is real. Jesus. Where's Drift? Okay. Hold on. 42 cents. Okay.
I'm still roughly 2x.
Yeah, you're still alive on this one. This is where the name Jeetimus Maximus for me comes in.
Yeah.
You know,
that's very
this is
true.
my ultimate Jeet at $2.40 a unit. It's not even on the graph. It doesn't even show it on the graph.
So
Unbelievable.
violent it was.
Absolutely nuts. Take profits. Now, speaking of Jeets, talk about bunker busters. A lot of people here in the Pentagon just itching to do a real world test of a bunker buster bomb. Let's check out how these things
The capabilities of the GBU-57, also known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. It can penetrate over 60 meters into the ground, around 200 feet. To put that in perspective, this depth is comparable to the height of a 20-story building, depending on the 4 heights. These examples demonstrate the significant advancements and differences in penetration levels among these specialized weapons. Let's put an average human here against this weapon, which is 20.5 feet long, giving it a streamlined aerodynamic shape that is crucial for stability and precision. With a diameter of 31.5 inches and weighing an incredible 30,000 pounds, translating to approximately 14,000 kilograms, it utilizes its massive weight to generate the kinetic energy required for deep penetration. This heavy, compact design enables it to break through over 200 feet of reinforced concrete, making it one of the most effective bunker-busting munitions in the world. Let's take a look at the parts of this weapon. The most important part is the body casing, made of hardened ferrocobalt alloy to withstand impact. Interestingly, the body comprises more than 80% of the bomb's total weight. Inside this cover, you will find the following components. At the front is the nose fuse well, all of which are joined by a fuse conduit. Sandwiched within this rod is the explosive-filled 5,000-pound warhead, which translates to approximately 2,267 kilograms. This conduit then connects to a tail fuse, which, interestingly, is the main detonator and is crucial for delayed action. Moving to the back, nestled inside the tail, we discover the intricacies of its guidance system. Here, the inertial guidance kit collaborates seamlessly with the military-grade global positioning unit, ensuring precise navigation towards its intended target. Alongside these components, one can find the adapter ring, which facilitates the attachment of the telemetry antenna, crucial for transmitting data, as well as the encryption key battery, which safeguards sensitive information. Venturing deeper into its structure, we encounter the thermal batteries vital for powering the system and the composite fins strategically positioned to aid in directing the missile towards its objective. These fins, meticulously controlled by internal gears, maneuver with precision, responding to commands to adjust the trajectory accurately. Let's take a look at the smaller bunker buster and how it works. It has a laser sensor at the front, and just behind that are adjustable fins. In the midsection, there is a warhead that weighs approximately 650 pounds containing tritonal explosive. This is a mixture of 80% TNT and 20% aluminum powder. Finally, we have the retractable fins at the rear. To give you a better sense of its size, comparing it to a person.
That's so nuts, dude. Jesus.
That was pretty entertaining, though.
That was
pretty entertaining.
crazy. Yeah, I don't know if those little tunnels are going to work out for him anymore. I really, I think we kind of learned our. Imagine if we had these in Vietnam. Jesus. Yeah, imagine. That shit would have been over very, very quickly. Isaac, also, there's a good deal going on here. Veteran Crypto highlighted it for me. Also, your new nickname, The Penetrator.
Oh, God.
Thoughts? Okay.
I accept.
You accept?
I accept.
Right. He's in. He's in, folks. American citizens can buy those, right? We need to dig in on this. We need to dig in on that and see if we can buy a bunker buster. Really, the question is, can we buy a plane that can carry a bunker buster? Is I think the more important question there. I think this is a pretty good deal. I know you already got the site set
I already
up.
have that exact same vortex too.
You see, my problem is I already have too many mags here. This is a good deal.
know.
If anyone looking at this, go follow Iraq at Iraq Veteran 8888 on Twitter. He has got links for affiliate. You can grab one there, and that's a hell of a deal, right? If you can exercise that kind of right, if you don't have a good amount of mags are important, right? Having good ammo. And shout out to Veteran Crypto. You got a new mic, new setup here. This is actually a really nice setup. Imagine having that kind of outlook. I mean, just
Pretty nice.
absolutely beautiful. I could do this at my house, but I don't have the same Windows setup.
Yeah.
Nature is wonderful. Nature is wonderful. Enjoy it. while and if you can, folks. Now we have Ted Cruz crashing out after Tucker Carlson called him out for not knowing the demographics of the Iranian people. And now Ted Cruz, what is the population of the Death Star? Asking Anakin Skywalker. Or is
I
that
feel like
Luke
it's-
Skywalker?
That is Luke.
Is it Luke? I always get them mixed up here. It's probably pretty important to understand that there's about 92 million people in the area that you want to level, right? I think that would be something reasonable to understand. And also which version of Muslim Islam leadership there is out there, I think matters quite a bit, because there's a lot within that subsect that just want peace. It's about the concentration of the war-focused subsect of people in there that really are worth focusing on. McDonald's, the prophecy has been fulfilled. This is the McDonald's stock chart, which has finally started to complete that M pattern. Shout out to him. Ooh, Mr. Mark also bringing up something we talked about this morning.
Yeah, I
need to
was
get
thinking
that
about buying one
magnifier.
today.
You need to get the flip magnifier. Honestly, the flip magnifier with a with 3x on it and a red dot in front of it is an absolutely delicious combination. I do have one on my setup right behind me, and it's very useful for indoor and outdoor activities. So you know what? Just a solid combination. Now this is nuts. My son crashed out when he saw this news. Law enforcement are now looking for 3,000 Nintendo Switch 2 units that were stolen out of a truck headed to GameStop, racking up to $1.4 million in Bennett, Colorado. Okay. Bennett, Colorado is total prairie country. I mean, there is not shit around there in Bennett, Colorado. And someone stole 3,000 Nintendo Switches from a box truck out there. Absolutely crazy. Law enforcement and other agencies are investigating a high-value heist involving the theft of thousands of these units. The driver discovered that his trailer had been broken into and several pallets were missing. Total 2,810 units were stolen, among the loss of $1.4 million. How do you play that many video games, right? How do you play that many video games? And that Trump phone that we were talking about earlier, it's going to be manufactured in China. Imagine that. That's probably part of the calming down the trade talk. Listen, I'll calm down the trade rhetoric if you make my phone.
Do it quickly. Make it beautiful. Make it huge.
Only $500. It's going to be the best. That's the whole play here. Is that he's making a $500 phone out of China. And, I mean, because like an iPhone, what is it? My iPhone, this is like $1,200 or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get a phone for $500, see, now I'm second guessing. Maybe I get one because I know the NSA and everyone out there. I mean, freaking all the AI things inside. They know that I'm crazy. They know who I am by now. Get real. They're around during COVID season. They had the warhead on the forehead of Druth during COVID season. They know where to find me. So maybe I'll get one for half price here. The Trump phone will be at levels that no one has ever seen, right? Oh my God. He just like election season when Barron's up for God Emperor of the United States, you get a text message, vote Barron or else. I can see that.
Phone will detonate on the spot if you don't vote for Barron. Okay.
You remember the pagers
and all
from
this.
Mossad? Oh my God. There we
One
go.
of those bomb phones that were killing people overseas.
Well, it's a wild day. This trade is it's causing me a little bit of heartburn here. How much am I down here? I'm down by I think probably like 5%, 4% right now.
I'm up.
So we'll see. You're up? Good job. You waited for the liquidity washout, huh?
At the very
Is that
bottom.
liquidity gone?
Yes.
Let's see here. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, you out traded me, Isaac. You out traded me today.
That's only
You know
half
what?
of a
I'm
percent.
about it. I want people. I really like seeing people learning how to trade. Yeah, we're in a super sketchy time frame. Things are a little bit sleepy right now because the markets are closed for Juneteenth. But learning how to trade's been something that I'm really thankful I took part in. When I started this job, Isaac, I was sitting right next to Frankie Candles. He talks like 100,000 miles a minute, and that's
Dude.
even when he's off camera. That is not a some persona that Frankie puts out. He's just like, brr, 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 and he's in shorts and longs and all of the things all the time. Shorts on top of shorts and another long. I sat there and learned from Frankie. I learned from Frankie. He's one of the best out there. And shout out to Frankie Candles. Shout out to him. He has the purest ADHD. If you guys are on Frankie Candles channel, give him some love from the truth. I'm always hitting him up, texting him every now and again. I'm still trying to get him to go out there and we'll use some tannerite and make some content with it. We'll get that day. But love and appreciate every single one of you out there for supporting us. Thank you very much to Byron and Cole's Content and Psychedelic Astronaut. We had so many new memberships given out and taken on. Cole's Content with the 5 members, Byron with the 50, maybe 60, and Psychedelic Astronaut getting one for himself right before the show went off. You guys are absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you out there. I'm supporting you. You support me. We're this awesome group of crypto psychopaths that are here front-running macroeconomic masters of the world. And I think we're going to be all right. Just got to stay based, got to stay focused, and keep your crypto off exchanges unless you're trading with it actively. With that being said, I love and appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.